begin, I want to first say Happy New Year's to everybody. I appreciate you taking the time out of your days. I'm sure everyone getting back to the groove after the holiday season. Hope you had an enjoyable one. I'm not going to be more than the hour set aside today because I do want to be respectful of your time. If we do go over the hour, I will make sure that it is only due to questions that haven't yet been answered. So I will stick around as long as you need me to if there's any questions that come up. So I don't want to rush you, but at the same time, I do want to make sure I'm respectful of everyone's time today. Now, at this stage, what I would want to do is just make sure that everything's working properly with the sound and the video. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you a quick little tour of how GoToWebinar works. This is obviously the platform that you're logged into. Now, I'm sure we're going to have some more people come in here momentarily, so we'll give them a few minutes as I walk everyone through how GoToWebinar works. So on the screen in front of you is your control panel. All right, now if you've been logged in early, I see a lot of you logged in early today, which is fine. I want to make sure that this hides itself. Okay, so you want to locate this little rectangle with the orange arrow on it. All right, so once you locate that, you can click the orange arrow and then the box opens up exactly as you see it here in front of you. Okay, so you should be seeing my webcam, you should be able to hear me clearly, and then you should see a slide that says sound check. I'm simply just sharing my desktop. Now, the top half is the audio controls. I would highly recommend you listen to this with the computer audio setting on. That's the best quality that you're gonna find, okay? If you need to dial in, that's fine. That's because you probably have low internet speed, bandwidth issues, Wi-Fi issues, things of that nature. Then you can always opt in for the phone call. Now, the bottom half here is where you're gonna spend the majority of your time. That's the question section, okay? So it is private. No one can see your comments. No one can see your first name, last name, email addresses, except for us on our end, and no one else, none of your fellow attendees can actually see your comments. So what we're gonna do here is just to do a simple sound check. Let's just make sure that you can hear clearly. You can see a slide that says sound check, and of course you can see the webcam going. Okay, so this is a live event. This is not pre-recorded. So if all of those are working for you, just simply type in a note, move your cursor into that question section. You can type freely with your keyboard. You know, say hello, say Happy New Year, whatever your heart's delight. Okay, and then I'm going to see your comment. Now, if you have, you know, I see some people here that just have traders as your names. That's because we made it easy on you to register. You know, so if you'd like a personal shout out, include your first name because all I see is trader or I see member. Okay, so make sure, you know, if you want that shout out, make sure you include at least your first name. I won't call out your last name, of course, but I will call out first names. Fantastic. So it looks like we got Richard with us. We got traders here from Knightdale, North Carolina. I love North Carolina. I've got a happy 3 Kings Day. Yeah, back at you. We've got Junior with us. Aren't you with Josh Martinez? Yeah, so I work alongside of those traders there as well. So I also run my own business, and then because this industry is so small, I also work with other organizations that I've known and I have a lot of respect for, and I've worked for well over a decade, right? So yeah, you have seen me there for sure. Andy from Placentia, California, love it. Got a Happy New Year from London. All right, so I got some comments. I can't hear it. Well, I will tell you, I always keep this by my desk. The #1 tech support issue is right here. You can't hear? Make sure you turn your volume up. That is the #1 issue when it comes to audio, is people sometimes forget to turn the volume up. All right, perfect. Then we have another Happy New Year's from Mississippi. All right, perfect. So it looks like we've got all up and running. We've got Alan with us too. It's all the way up. All right, so I will flag your comment there. I'll see if my people can help, even though you can't hear me. So I know that can be frustrating if that is you in your seat. I've been there before, so hopefully you can read lips. We've got Happy New Year from Brian. All right, fantastic. We've got an I'm in. All right, so it looks like we've got everything exactly where we want it, which is working. Yeah, we always archive these events. I've got so many, I don't know, I think I've got thousands of hours of recorded content, so we have a good mechanism for capturing all of these events. So yeah, you'll be fine. Yep, we'll make sure you get a shot to view it later. All right, so what we have to do, okay, many of you that have been involved in the financial markets, you've been to events like this one here today, you know that it is our responsibility and our obligation as traders to always let you know, though I know you know it, that trading in the financial markets does carry risk. You know, you can lose, and you can lose all that you have invested, right? So simple rule of thumb that I found in life is don't trade with money that you can't live without, meaning don't bet that farm, all right? Make sure you've got capital set aside to invest with that you can still keep a roof over the head and keep your tables nice and full of food when it comes down to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so, but you know, it is what it is. You know, we have to make sure that we disclaim that, and trading does carry risk. All right. So what we're really going to focus on today is, look, there's so many ways in this industry to trade. What we have seen though, since the start of the pandemic, is that millions of traders are flocking to the financial markets. You know, and it's a boon to the marketplace as retail traders. You know, we're really making a big splash in the market in terms of making a difference as far as, you know, the volume. You know, typically the volume of traders is usually about 10% at the max. You know, so on a given trading day, you know, the retail traders like you and I make up, you know, 5 to 10%. But here, since the start of the pandemic, there's days where we've made up 20 to 25% of the daily volume. That's up against the institutional traders, hedge fund traders, you know, big, large institutional banks, insurance groups, things of that nature. So with that rush, you know, the next step is, are you making the money you want to make? You know, you could be a first-time trader, you could be a seasoned investor, right? But to be in a presentation like this, something piqued your curiosity. Most of the time, of the people that I work with, it's either I'm new, I don't know where to start, or I'm new, I don't have a lot of time, but I do have money set aside. I want to make sure I can overcome some of the inflation. Or maybe you've got your kids going up to college. You know, I've got 2 young children, 7 and 8 years old, so I'm not quite there yet, but I know that is definitely something that I've thought about here over the last several months is, you know, what's that plan for them, you know, in 10 to 11 years from now? You know, it could be simply, look, you know, I'm sick and tired of the rat race of, you know, working from home, not working from home. You know, I know some kids are being sent to school, some are not, right? So it's a lot to juggle, especially since the pandemic for many of us. And I think that's the main reason that a lot of people have really started to take trading more seriously. Maybe you dabbled it in the past, but this time with the pandemic gave you more time to devote to learning and getting into a profitable position. You know, that's something that's interesting. But ultimately, what we're going to talk about today is what's the plan, right? What is that actual plan of attack? Because you're definitely not alone when it comes to your hopes and dreams, ambitions to become successful. And what I really love about success, you know, I've worked, and I'll give you some more background information on myself in a moment. But what I really find interesting is that no matter how many people I've worked with, you know, this is going back to 2007 is when I began trading in the financial markets and coaching and all that good stuff. All of the various thousands of people I've worked with, everyone has unique levels of success that they're after. You know, some people are just looking for, you know, a couple $100 a month. You know, they just want some extra spending money, extra pocket money. Then I've got some people that are really serious and they really want to become that full-time trader. You know, really have that lifestyle of being a trader. Now, everyone's lifestyle of a trader is probably a little bit different, right? To me, I've really set goals for me personally just to trade enough where I don't have to, you know, stare at my charts all day. You know, I can actually take the time to spend with my children. You know, I was a chief revenue officer of one of the largest financial education trading companies at the time, and it was a difficult road. I mean, it was 12-hour days with a commute, you know, managing 150 plus employees, and it became an opportunity where I was missing out on the development of my children, right? And so that's where I stepped aside in 2018 and took a little mini vacation, little mini retirement for about 6 months just to clear my headspace, right? And so now my goal isn't to make as much money as possible. My goal is to make as much money so I can provide the lifestyle and the time, right? Time is something that I really enjoy spending with my children. And I think a lot of people, especially what I've seen since the pandemic, are really looking at, what's most important to them, right? And so we're going to dive on the plan of attack. And so with all the millions and millions of traders, what I find, and it's unfortunate, see, all of these brokers, it could be Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, they're public companies. And so every quarter, they've got to release their quarterly statements. And if you haven't done it, it's pretty interesting to do. But if you have the time, dig in on some of those quarterly reports. And what you'll find in there is they actually give you the performance of their retail trading space, meaning all of their retail traders out there, they have to claim and they have to show the performance. Now, they don't give individual names, of course, that would be intrusive, wouldn't it? But they do give performance in a big bucket, in a basket. So they lump in all of their retail accounts. And some of the findings I've seen is that the returns over 12 months for their average retail trader comes out to 0. So meaning that they lose. It's not even a 0, it's a negative number. So the average retail trader over a 12-month span loses their account size, the whole balance, in 12 months time. So we're really at a crossroads. Goals of making money. This goal of whatever that is, okay, I've already gone through some examples of, what people typically set as goals, some pocket change to full-time income. And then you have the skill required to actually do it, right? So there's this easy mindset of setting a goal, but then how do we go achieve that goal, right? And so that's what I'm trying to do, is to help people in the most simplistic way possible achieve their goal, right? And that's what's really given me a lot of passion in the last several years, is focusing on delivering, right? Because to me, it's about the plan. Now, as I'm watching the question section, I've got this webcam on a side note in the middle. So if you see me move around, it's because I'm just getting the camera out of my face so I can see here. But what is that plan, right? And so there's so many ways to trade the financial markets. As one of the attendees asked earlier, you see me around in other events. Well, I speak at events all the time. And there's great programs out there, fantastic programs. There's great teachers, there's great coaches, there's great mentors out there. And to me, I'm always leaning towards giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? And I know very, very many of the top traders in the space personally, right? And so we have conversations all the time about this. But to me, trading comes down to understanding what the method is, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the method today, but more importantly, it's personality, right? It's who are you going to follow? Who are you working with? You could have 5 people in a room, 5 top traders in the space. No matter how well they trade, they're going to have their different ways they go about doing it. A lot of trading is based on the same concept. It really comes down to trend, right? Direction. It comes down to certain patterns in the market, like basic support and resistance levels. Some people like to use Fibonacci's. I do, but a different variation of it, right? It's all based on the same overall premise, trading volume, activity. But the way, and the reason I find is that some people gravitate towards one person or the other is not only the plan, but also the personality. Do they understand the concepts that they're talking through? Do they understand the method and how they do so, right? Do they have the same types of goals, same types of value sets? I think to be successful, I think it's more so than just program. I think it's also the personality that you're working with. And so all of that to me is summed up into a plan of attack of how to go do it. Because when it comes down to being successful trading, to give you a little background on myself, I've been doing this since 2007. My personal trading in that time has evolved probably a dozen times since then, but it's always based on the same type of focus. But to me, I had a unique upbringing as a trader in this space. I was paid to learn how to trade the markets. So I started on the phone as an educational specialist. So for a financial trading company. And so I had to learn how to become a trader. I had to learn technical analysis. And so I got a check to do so. See, most retail traders, it's the other way around. It's either you're paying somebody to teach you how, or you're going the other way, which is the school of hard knocks, right? Which can be just as expensive or more, right? Especially when you look at some of these quarterly statements I mentioned earlier, where the average lifespan of a retail trader is losing their account over a 12-month period. So the time, energy, and money to invest are the three biggest things that you've got to come to a conclusion about. Now, the time side, energy and money, right? To me, I know it may sound crazy, right? But the money side is the simpler equation. You know, I have, for a simple example, let's say I've got $5,000 in monthly obligations. I bring in $10,000. I save, 10% aside for a emergency fund, and then I have an extra $2,000 set aside that I want to invest and try to work for, right? Of course, that's just a high-level example, but you get my point. So I've got $2,000. Okay, done. Okay, now what do I do with that money? All right, so that's where the time comes in, and then the energy. It's a perfect time of the year to talk about New Year's resolutions. Well, I was a personal trader in my younger days, and it may not look like it, but I once was. This time of the year for personal training is the biggest time of the year. Why? Because of course, New Year's resolutions. One of the biggest New Year's resolutions every year is getting healthy, dropping some weight. Maybe you're small and you want to add some weight, right? Something around health and lifestyle typically spurs at the beginning of the year. Now, the reason why so many of these New Year's resolutions fail within the first couple months is because of time and energy. Money, sure, right? Maybe it's money because you got to open up a new trading account or a new account at the local gym, right? Maybe you buy a Peloton, right? I got a Peloton in my home office here about, 10 feet away, okay? Right? There's money, there's an investment. Maybe it's a new diet, right? Maybe it's a keto diet. That's not cheap, right? Maybe it's going all vegan. Once again, it may sound like it's cheap, but it's not, right? That money can be a deterrent, right? But most of the time, it's time and energy. If you've got to change your lifestyle, right? If you've got to get up earlier than you normally do, that's going to sap energy. And if you're a night owl and now you're trying to change your body to become an early bird, you're going to have a difficult uphill battle. It's just natural. It could be overcome, but what's the saying, right? It takes 6 weeks to change a habit. If you can only make it 4 weeks, you're ultimately going to give up, right? And that's just time and energy. I think that's the hardest thing to give up for traders today. Now, I've got a solution for you. I'm going to tell you about it. But ultimately, time and energy to me is the biggest deterrent to long-term success because it's harder. Sure, money does not grow on trees. I am building a small garden out in my backyard. I'm doing quite well, but it's only been about 6 months, right? But that takes time and energy as well, right? So anything that we put in front of us throughout our lives is going to take time and energy. And then you tap on, children. You tap on all your other obligations as a wife, as a husband, as a spouse, as a loved one, as a family member, right? That time and energy, there's only so much of it, right? And so what I want to encourage you to do is really look seriously at your goals for 2022. And one of the biggest things I come against, especially for newer traders and those that haven't had success yet that you want, is stop trying to figure out on your own. There's so many resources, there's so many people out there that can help. Now, each person you go to is going to be different. It was Josh Martinez who mentioned earlier. He's a very close friend of mine. Worked with him for well over a decade. Very successful trader. Him and I grew up in the same type of trading environment. All right, so we have very similar viewpoints on the market movement, but we do things differently still, right? That's what the example was earlier today, right? There's so many people that can help. I think what's most important is remove ego and look to find help. Look to find a mentor that can help you figure this thing out, because why try to go through this on your own when you can exasperate and accelerate the process, right? Time, energy, money. I don't want to hammer it too much. But to me, if you try to go about this without truly dedicating the time and energy, then you're setting yourself ultimately up for failure, because those two things we don't get back, right? Once the clock strikes 5 o'clock and we're done, right? Our 1 hour together is done. That's 1 hour that you couldn't spend time with your loved ones, right? Maybe help them with homework if you have small children, right? Maybe you're getting prepared for dinner. I cook almost every dinner, right? That's time that we never get back. So for me, what I found to be wildly successful is when I'm looking at a strategy, looking at a process, make sure whatever you do that it naturally and easily fits into your lifestyle, fits into your schedule. So if you're a night owl, then find a solution where you're at your best at night so you can trade in the markets. Believe it or not, I'll show you here in a moment how you can trade at night. I don't trade during the day. I don't execute market orders all throughout the day, smashing my keyboard, trying to get in and out of positions. To me, in my personality, you can probably get a sense of my personality here. I'm an optimist. And so the more I stare at something, the more I look at something on a chart, the more I like it. In fact, I go from this, okay, I'm in that iffy stage. This stock looks like it's going to move. And then I keep looking at it. I keep digging. I said, well, maybe, oh, I really like this. I think it's really going to break out. And then if I stare at it a little bit longer, then I start saying to myself, this is a guaranteed home run, right? So I've learned throughout my career to step away from the charts, look at it from a high level, be as holistic as possible, and look down without a lot of noise. And then finding those opportunities, then I take them out, then I set them up for tomorrow. So the majority, I would say 95% of my trading is done analyzing the market after it's closed. Now, if you think about your time, do you have time between 5 o'clock Eastern time till 9 o'clock in the morning? Is there a window of 20 minutes, 15 minutes where you can pop onto the market and set up a trade and then be done? Knowing that you've got an entry, knowing you've got a profit target lined up, knowing that you've got a stop loss to protect you if you're wrong. In 15 minutes. That's how I train my traders. Snapshot, be done, set it up, disconnect, and go enjoy your life. If you're an early bird, then find a strategy that fits that early bird mentality. Don't try to take a night owl and make yourself an early bird. You're just adding barriers to achieve the success you're looking for. Now, by all means, you can do anything you want. It's your money, right? But these are some of the things that I found over my, 2007, oh my Lord, 15 years of coaching experience in the markets, right? 15 years. So I just want to make sure that you're walking away with at least some value here. And you probably thought about this. You may have heard this in a different way before, but these are some of the things that I'd rather share than keep close to the chest, because some of these simple tweaks can help. Like I said, there's some fantastic strategies that require you to be in front of your computer. If you can't be in front of your computer at the right time, at the right moment, then it's not going to work. You may, for a few days, a few weeks, sacrifice your normal day to go execute that strategy, but over time, you're going to run up against roadblocks that you just can't overcome, right? And that's the level of trading that we're going to talk about. And so the question is this, and this is the service that we provide, okay, that I lead and I oversee. The program I'm going to talk about today is where you rely on me and my team to devote the time and energy, the resource, the research to find trading opportunities for you. So all you have to do is do what's the most simplest of the three, is to decide what you're going to invest in the trade. Now, we tell you everything you need to know, so you don't have to worry about that piece. I'll give you some examples. But the time and energy factor in today's day and age, in 2022, when some people are in a state of chaos, right? And it's not chaos that we can control. You know, just like up in Chicago with the teachers union, right? One day, what were parents doing with 330,000 students, children? What are they supposed to do, right? So there's a lot out there that, we just can't control. That's out of our peripheral. But what we can control is what we do with our time and energy and money, of course, right? And so that's the the question, right? What if we could handle the time and energy factor? Now, if you've got more time, I'll show you how we can actually teach you how to trade, right? But this today is about helping you let your money work for you, right? Without the time, energy up front. I will tell you, we've got hundreds of traders that follow our program that I'm going to walk you through in a moment. I'm going to show you the methodology so you can understand how it works. I would say of the hundreds of people that we work with, I would say probably 20% show up to see me live every week, because I host classes twice a week live, about an hour and a half each. Only about 20%. I don't hold anything against them, because what they wanted was they wanted someone to help them achieve their goals. They didn't want to spend their time and energy to do it. They wanted me and my team to do it, and that's fine. The other 20% that want to actually learn how to do this, they show up every single week to my sessions, and I teach them exactly what I do so they can learn and grow and develop as the traders they want to be, right? But I find that interesting. The old Pareto rule, the 80-20 rule, exists all around the world. But there's going to become a time where you're going to want to learn how to do this, okay? So if you can add more profitable trades, let's say you're trading now, right? There's really two groups of you. There's those trading now and those that aren't trading, right? And that's what we're going to talk about here. So this whole premise, and I've got some questions coming in, is all about generating the two most critical things about trading possible. The two most critical things. The first critical thing that we're going to discuss here is trend, the direction. The second most critical thing is going to be talking about the trading activity, the volume that drives price action, right? That price action is what we're going to be dealing with right now, okay? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use a free software, okay? Believe it or not, free software. You do not need to have some fancy software that you've got to pay thousands of dollars for to do what I'm going to share with you now, okay? So we're going to get down to the market action. Now, I'm probably going to go through some analysis, because anytime I get in a chart, in front of a chart with people like yourselves, with other traders, then I'm naturally going to go into analysis mode. So if you've got questions, feel free to type them in. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and this is the software that I use. Many of you probably seen it before, but it's TradingView. Now, I've got a paid account, but you don't need to have a paid account. You can do anything you'd like. I'm not an affiliate of TradingView, so there's no monetary incentive for me to use TradingView. I just used it for years and years, and I love how simple and easy it is to use, okay? Now, effectively, what this process is about is helping deliver breakout opportunities. Now, what makes a breakout opportunity? Well, it's actually very simple. The one thing that drives price action, I'm going to clear out some of this stuff here so we can get to a clean slate. And I'm going to go to my number one favorite stock out there, and it's called Ford. It's my favorite, most watched stock on my watch list. Now, there's nothing here to look at except for simple candlesticks. If you don't know Japanese candlesticks and you want to learn them, we have plenty of content to help you, right? But I don't want to dive too far down that hole right now. But all it's simple to look at is green are bullish days. I'm on a daily chart. Red candles are bearish. That means the price went down that day if it's red. If it's green, right, that means the price went up that day. So it's a bullish green, red is bearish, right? That's the short rundown. Now, just looking at a simple chart like this, there's some key data points that can really help us identify what's happening, okay? So that's the whole key here, is what's happening, and more so importantly, how do we time these so we can catch the most profit, right? So that's the sum of trading, is how do we get inside and how do we catch a breakout? And I'll show you what a breakout looks like. Now I'm going to add some very simple tools to the software here. I got rid of my webcam, so sometimes I share my charts and sometimes it interferes with the camera, so I don't know why, but I'm going to get rid of the camera for a moment and just focus in on this chart. By leveraging some very, very simple tools built in here, like I said, you can have a free account. I ran a free account here for well over 2-3 years, so you do not need to pay for a monthly subscription or anything like that to run this type of strategy. Now, the strategy is premised on what's called momentum breakouts. So the first thing to identify momentum is to understand volume. Okay, so volume is one of the least used indicators for retail traders. You see, what institutional traders do is they make it all sound fancy and they call it momentum, right? So momentum volume to me is one and the same. So all I'm going to do now is I just want to add a simple indicator called volume, right? There's lots of different indicators, so that's why I was saying volume. But I'm just going to add on volume for a second. So down here on the bottom, what this is doing is just giving us the daily trading activity. Okay, so the bars below here, I have this set as a histogram. So I've got columns on the bottom. And so all it's doing is telling me what volume occurred on that day, right? So you can see here today, for example, right? Markets closed. That's why I do these sessions after the market's closed, right? Remember I talked about earlier, I like to trade, 15 minutes at night and be done with it and set them up for tomorrow. Okay, this is my typical time, right? So 4 o'clock, there's today, January 6th. So today there's 152 million shares traded. That's not dollars, that's shares, okay? The day before that, 253 million shares. What was the day before that? Well, on Monday, 311 million shares. Now it looks nice, right? Big old bar. Well, what about the day before that, right? Only 110. Now, 4 is a high volume traded stock symbol in its own right, naturally. But what's more important is understanding when there's a breakout of volume. So what we have to do is we have to have a simple measurement. And I highly encourage you, if there's one thing you walk away with today, is volume. What I'm about to explain right now, this one piece, I want you to add to whatever software you use. I don't care if it's a paid software, a free software, whatever you use to look at a chart, I want you to apply what I'm going to apply right now, because this by itself can dramatically help you avoid getting into those turtles, okay, the trades that don't do anything. So all I'm going to do with this indicators is add a simple moving average behind it, because what I want to do is compare the daily activity to an average. I need to have a basis to know if the volume on a day is higher or lower than what's normal. So data is just data unless you're comparing it against something. Okay, so I'm going to turn on this as a simple volume MA, checking the box. I'm going to go to inputs. I'm going to have my moving average length at 20. Okay, so what this is saying is it's generating a trend line. It's this blue line here. I'll make it bigger so you can see that. So this blue trend line here is a rolling 20-day average of volume. So when I come to today and highlight that bar, you can look below in the top left corner right here. When I come to any day, you'll see in green, it says 152.94 million. That's what the shares were traded today. In dark blue is what the average was on that day. Okay, so the average, the 20-day average today is 105.6 million. So today was an above average trading day. Above average trading day. The day before was also, right? So without having to go bar by bar, I can look visually and see when the market's below, when the market's above. This is the crux of breakout trading. It takes trading activity at volume to drive price, right? That's the nature of how the stock market works. More buyers than sellers, price goes up. When there's a whole lot more buyers, right? When there's an excess amount of buyers, more so than the selling side, you get massive breakout, as you can clearly see. So if you go to these big bars, this was on the 4th, right? Big bar, big breakout. Big bar, big breakout, right? You can see the size of these candles in comparison, and it works on the way up and it works on the way down. So you'll see breakouts up, like you see here, see these big bars pushing up this price forward. Now, when I say price, I mean, you're seeing surges of price. That's a 40% stock price move in 13 days. So the bars represents trading days, because I'm on a daily chart. The 20-day, the 20D represents calendar days, okay? But you can see that's the crux of breakouts. So if you can find yourselves at the right time, pinpointing when there's a combination of really 4 things, and I'm gonna show you the 4 things, when all 4 of these are in alignment, there's a high propensity, a high probability that that stock price is gonna move higher. And not just higher a few percentage points, we're talking about breakout speed, right? Rapid speed is what we're talking about. Breakout trading. I'm gonna go back in time in the back in time machine. So let's go back to the 4th, right? So this is January 4th. Strong day. Look at the volume below. At this point, after the holiday season, the average volume fell down to about 81 million. Then on the 3rd, which was the first trading day of the year, 110 million, almost 111 million shares hit forward. That is a sign of a pending breakout to happen. Now, technically, from a pattern basis standpoint, there's a big break of this previous resistance point, this previous high for Ford, okay? This really confirmed that Ford is gonna go higher. Once you had this higher than this previous high, combination of this strong volume, that is the premise that gave this breakout move right here. From the close of the previous day, so this is Monday, here's Tuesday. It's 11%, almost 12% stock price move in one day. Now I trade primarily options. I'll show you what the options move was, because this was a signal that we sent out to our traders on Monday night, and they made some awesome profits in just 2 days, okay? But I'll show you the option side. But what this first lesson here is about volume. You come into any stock symbol you want. You want to look at Apple, we can go to Coca-Cola. You're going to see historically when there's a breakout, it is following some big volume pushing price up. So that's why I say this is one of those lessons that you can apply on any software, any charts, and will dramatically shift your timing of your trade. So we use it to time, right? Timing our entries is what we use it for. So we know that there's other people investing in that symbol, because no matter if the retail traders of the world combine together, we're still not going to level up to the big money in the markets. We just can't do it. We don't have that much capital as retails to do it all together, right? So understanding this timing side. Now I'm going to start putting it together. Okay, so I just want you to understand this simple concept. We look at volume, and then we have a basis to compare against. We need a base to compare volume, so we know, are we above or below? Now, I also teach in class how to trade low volume scenarios, right? So we talk about both sides, high volume, and then we talk about the other spectrum, which is low volume. Okay, they're all both indicators of a pending move to happen. And that's what this is all about, is how do we predict the next move? So what we're going to do is go back to Ford for a second, and I'm going to walk you through now a very, very simple. Now, this is going to be extremely simple, and that's why I like it. It's easy to coach to, easy to train to. There's other variations you can do if you'd like, if you're a little bit more experienced, but I like to use very simple tools to help facilitate this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this simple set of indicators. I already showed you one, which is volume. The next super simple setup here, for those that want to track this and use this yourself, by all means, do so. I've got 3 moving averages, and I use them as automated trend lines. Number 1, I don't have the desire, nor the time, nor the energy to track all 12,000 plus tradable stocks to keep on top of all the trends. So I sacrifice a little bit of accuracy, of timing, but to me, having an ability to automatically know trends without doing all the manual work is worth the sacrifice of a few ticks of accuracy. What I mean is Drawing manual trend lines, number one, takes time, energy, and money to learn how to do, but also to maintain them really becomes difficult, almost impossible for us to maintain thousands of stocks in all their current trend directions and all that fun stuff. So I use this simple technique of using a 10-day moving average. These are all simple, not exponential, just very simple. Versus a 20, versus a 50. Okay, so I've got a short-term look on a 10-day. I've got a midterm time frame on a 20. And then I've got a longer term on a 50. 50-day average, 20-day average, 10-day average, a price. Very similar to how this volume is. This setup here you're seeing, you may think, man, that's so basic. I've seen this a million times. This system here that you see in front of you, this mechanism of using this in the past 15 months has generated almost 3,000% in net profits in trading options. This simple setup here with these 4 indicators, nearly 3,000% in net profits over 15 months. Very simple to look at. Let me show you this and break this down. You can use this. This is available. These are very simple. And I like this because you don't have to use this on TradingView. You can use this on Thinkorswim. You can use this on any broker platform of your choice. They all offer them to you free. Very simple to set up, and it doesn't require any proprietary software, anything like that. That's all cost that's added to your trading endeavors, right? Why do it when you don't have to? So what these do is they give us a very simple and easy to digest trend. So let me break it down for you. I'm gonna go back in time here a second. The 50 is the longest term trend. That's our line in the sand. This is ultimately what we look at, and I'm gonna hide these for a second. We're looking at where the bars are in relation to the 50. So when you see the bars break above, right, these candlesticks on the 18th of May break above the 50, right, you see the uptrend that follows. And then you see when the market goes below, you see the downtrend that's created. And then you see we break above, right, we're gonna see an uptrend. Okay, so this is the last line in the sand. Now this is a setup, this 10, 20, 50. I wanna give you an expectation. This is used for active traders, swing traders for time frame. So you're looking to be in trades for days and weeks. Okay, this is not a setup to be in for months. Definitely not a setup to be in for years. This is for what I find is the majority of people I work with are more of that swing time frame. So you're talking days and weeks, okay, not months and not minutes. So this is not used for minutes, okay, days and weeks. So once, because I have a different look and feel for the other settings, but ultimately this is the last line. But there's other levels that occur. There's other trend that act as support and resistance, because that's what trend lines do. Rather than having a simple, horizontal line as support or resistance, what trend lines do, the way these are set up, is they track the market in increments of an average, right? 50 days in this example. So they're following the market, but on a broader set of data. So it's a smoother looking trend line, right? So if I zero out, you can see it's not erratic. There's not a lot of up and down swing versus if I put on the 10-day, right? So when I put on the 10-day, you can see how much more market action occurs, right? You get a lot of more up and down movement. That's all helpful, but we need a longer look. And so that's why we use the 50. So once I get rid of these bars and I talk about what the price swings look like, right? So you have the blue, which is the 10. So the shorter the time frame is going to react more frequently than the 50, right? Because I'm looking at a smaller condensed look to the market, but they work the same. So now without the bars, whenever you see the blue line above the red, you're thinking uptrend, right? And you can see how it acts as support and then bounces, breaks it, reverses, moves down, breaks back above. Okay, so this is a 10-day. So very simple. When you've got the blue above the red, you're also in an uptrend. And what we're doing by stacking trend is we're looking for multiple confirmations that we're in the right direction. The more confirmations we can have on our side, the more probable our trades are going to be. The stack effect, okay? So we're looking at now timing. So the way we put this together is we are looking for 3 simple things to occur. So the 3 simple things are a stack effect of all of these in alignment. Now, I mentioned this earlier, there's multiple different ways to do this. We've got 2 types of setups that we look for. We look for an aggressive setup. We look at conservative setups. So if you think about the difference between the 2, aggressive is going to have less criteria, but they happen more frequently. Conservative has more criteria that needs to be met. To give you an idea, when we trade options, there are 7 different criteria we look for that has to be in alignment. 7 different criteria. Some of the strategies, 9 criteria have to be met in our checklist for it to be a go moment, meaning it's time to go, time to get into the trade. This is how we combine all of this together. Okay, so we're looking at, once again, I said, end of the day. This is my favorite time to trade because there's no distractions. We don't have the tickers going up and down. We're not worried about what Kramer's saying or what other talking head out there is discussing in the market. We've got a nice snapshot. What happened? Okay. What we look for on aggressive, we have a bullish breakout. You see this red is the downtrend. Trend line broke. It's the same look if I had a manually drawn trend line and manually drew my trend lines. Don't we have a breakout of the trend, right? Like I stated earlier, why bother drawing all over your charts when you can use simple indicators? Okay, that's available to everybody. It's not proprietary, very simple to put together as I'm showing you. What's proprietary is the method and how I use it. And I'm telling you right now how to do it. So all an open book here. The break above plus we need volume. Okay, so the volume push is the real break. The pattern we want to see is that we want to see the price that's moving down change directions. So you could see running below, we're bearish. Then this happened, I don't even know, I pulled it randomly. Then on the 23rd of September, we ran and we saw the market break. So the aggressive nature in how I describe this is because there's only one volume push. There's only one trend push here. And the one trend idea is the fact that we broke this 50 moving average. That's it. That's just one criteria. This is the start of what breakouts look like. And as I just flashed through the back in time machine, and you can follow along if you've got TradingView or any charts and go back to the 23rd, set up the indicators as I've shown them, you're going to see the same stuff that I have, right? So there's nothing mystical about this setup because I like to give all of these things I've learned over my years in this market away. That's the strategy I use. And you can see this rise up. Now, of course, it's breaking out because the pattern set up so. When you look at this, remember I said support levels, resistance levels, these trend lines. So look how the price keeps coming down to the 10, and then it finds support, and then it bounces back up it. Retraces back down to the 10, bounces back off of it. When that's happening, that is a very strong uptrend. The first layer. So what I want you to start to look at the market as is when you're in an uptrend, the 10, 20, 50 are levels of support in angled directions. So as it's tracking this 10, it's coming back to it, testing it again. Okay, now it breaks. Where do you think the next break's going to be, right? Well, it found support off the 20, bounced back up again. So it's coming back to a place it's been before, and it's bouncing back up. I don't get too advanced. I could talk about this for hours. But that is the motion, and that's the look and feel of breakout. Where did it start? It started with a change of direction, a reversal. It was once trending down, moving down below the red, the 50. Strong volume surge, break above. Very strong bullish bar close. We catch and wait, enter. As this rises, it's going to eventually come back down. Every trend eventually ends. You're going to see how these different trend lines are going to act as support. You see this multiple levels of support up and down this line. Now it's going to break deeper. It's going to find levels of a strong, now it's going to go sideways, right? You see now we're in a channel, okay? It's not only until the 2nd of December that we get the blue to cross the yellow. When that happens, you see this little hook. I'm going to teach you, that's where you start to see the trend ending. Okay, the trend is coming to a break. It's taking a break. It's exhausting. It ran a lot of momentum to go from this price on September 23rd, right, all the way up to a high of 50%. It needs to take a break. Traders that love Ford, they're taking profit, right? They're enjoying the holidays. This is coming up to Thanksgiving, right? It's a natural pullback after a massive run. It's very natural. And it's going to take a break, right? I mean, you go that hard in that short amount of time, in less than 2 months, you're going to need a break. But then we start to see Ford come back up on the radar in the beginning of December again, right? Once again, big bounce, 2 levels of support combined together. You see the 10 and 20 right here where my cursor is. Well, look down below, you have another signal of a jump. You have 169 million shares traded, right? Big old bar up. Another 5% jump in one single day. Then you get a test, then you get a reset, okay, coming into the end of the year, sticking in a channel. What we're looking for now is another breakout. What's the breakout point? Well, the breakout point, what put this on the map for our trading signal we sent out, literally told you what to buy, when to buy it, how to get in, how to get out. We wait for this target to be broken. That's a sign of another impending breakout. So this is where we were here on the 3rd, at the end of the day. Understanding how volume impacts and is the definitive impact. I don't know anything else that can move price more than volume, because to me, that's what the whole market is built upon, trading activity. Once that's broken, we don't just rush it. We use a very, very simple methodology of entering our buy signals. So we give you everything. I'll show you what it looks like if you're interested in a moment. But it's a very simple method. It's called catching breakouts. It's not called chasing breakouts. So the entry strategy, and I'll give it to you right now, is very simple, and I like it because it allows me, once again, to not be in front of my charts all day long, waiting and watching and putting myself in a precarious position to potentially jump in too early or jump in too late, that whole song and dance. So what we do and what I teach is we do what's called a 3-step order. Okay, so we set up everything in advance. We set up our entry, we set up a profit target, and we set up a stop loss. And I trade options primarily. So we do that trading options, either buying long calls or buying long puts. I don't sell first. I don't short options. I like to keep it simple. I'm either buying calls or I'm buying puts. If you don't know how to trade options, we've got training to help you simplify options trading like you've never seen before. But this is the method of catching. So remember, this is the end of the day. This was the 3rd. So at the end of the day, once I identified the pattern, this showed up on my filter. So I use a screener to find these. I don't sit there and watch 12,000 stocks every day. I use a filter, a screener setup to do all the heavy lifting for me. And then I go through and I look and identify what showed up. I break it down, what pattern is it in. If it makes sense, if it checks all the boxes, then we set up and we execute. That's the process I roll every single day. So we take the high of the day. So the high of the day on Monday was $21.88. So from there, we set up, and I'm just going to use some of these lines here just so you can see what it looks like. So this is the pending entry. I use blues as entries, and they're always pending because we're waiting for a specific price. So one tick above that high is 21.89. So I set up a contingent order. I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. But a contingent order with 3 steps: set the entry, set the stop loss, set the profit target. So that way you're one and done. You don't have to touch it. You set it once. You don't have to micromanage it. So once we have that set up, the next step is we do stop losses and profit targets. I use a simple method forecasting profit targets that's objective, not subjective, which I do not like to play in subjectiveness. I only like to focus in on objective data to set these targets up. So the profit target was set up at 20, get the right number here. Going to my old tracker here that we track, there's over 170 trades here, so I can't memorize them all. So we've got 24.93 was our profit target, 19.04 was our stop loss. And I'll show you the actual email that went out too. So for those that think I would set something up unnaturally, we track everything under the sun here. All right, so here is stop loss. This is all in advance of the trade. So this is all set up at night, usually about 5, 6 o'clock is when we set everything up to be sent out to our followers. So that way you got plenty of time to come in and set up your trades before the next trading day. So then we had a profit target here set. This was at 24.93. And I also have all the screenshots of each trade so you can see them as well. So that was the trade setup. So what it looks like is it looks like this on the option trade, which I really love because it's all done in one. It may take you some time to learn it, but we've got lessons on how to do it. So this is, I need to get Ford. There's Ford. So here's Ford. Okay, so I use Thinkorswim. This is what we use to track everything is Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade. So remember I talked about these 3 orders? So we tell you how to do it. So you don't have to know this right now, but it's a way to set up what's called an OCO order. One cancels the other. So in green is the entry order. So you can see we're going to open this, all right, to open. So I use a formula to set up how much I invest per trade so we track everything appropriately. But this was buying 30 contracts of Ford. Expiration 18th February 22. That's the expiration date we used. And the strike price was $21. Now below that, let me just make sure I refresh my screen so people couldn't see it. Now you should be able to see it. Can you see the screen now? Okay, good. So this is, and I'll zoom in here. There you go. So this is what the ticket looks like. So before I hit the send button, this is the confirmation window. What I love is that everything's protected. So one time set up, don't have to touch it again. Now you can see down below it says order condition. So order 1, where you want to buy. You want to buy the February expiration, $21 strike. Below that is the condition. The condition is we're only going to buy it if Ford marks at or above 21.89. So that tells Thinkorswim here in our tracking account to only buy it if the stock price marks at or above 21.89. And it's only good for the day. It's only good for the next day. So I look on a daily chart, the breakout I want is on the next day. If Ford did not mark at 21.89 the following day, which would have been Tuesday, this trade would automatically cancel. It's only good for the next trading day. So like I said, you set it once, you don't have to touch it again. It either goes live, as it did, it either goes live and executes the order, or it cancels automatically. So you don't have to mess with it. You can go on vacation. You can set this up and leave for months and come back and log in and see, did you win or did you lose? Because everything's protected, which I love. Now you have the second order. So then I have a stop loss, and then we have a profit target. So I always set the stop loss first. It's just my habit. So now these 2 red ones, this is where you get the OCO. You can see it right here. It says OCO means one cancels the other. So when one's hit, the other one cancels out. So if the stop loss is hit, the profit target gets stopped out or closed out. If the profit target's hit, then the stop loss gets canceled. So that way it's done. It's going to hit either the red or the red. There's no other solution. And you can see I've got the stop loss, close out the trade. So if this hits 21.89, reverses and hits 19.04, then it's going to close me out automatically. I'm going to accept the loss and look for the next trade. And then the third order is the opposite. It's going to close me out if forward marks at or above 24.93. That's the profit target. This is the method of being able to trade at night, set them up, and not have to worry about it the next day. You don't have to be in front of your computer. So next day, it marked at or above 21.89. So it executed the trade. Now, it made a wonderful run, but did not hit the profit target. Okay, profit target was still 60 ticks away, 62 ticks away at the close. At this point, we are up just about 100% on the option trade. Day one. Yeah, great question. So I've got a comment. I like it. Once you're in the trade, how long will it last? The average hold time of this type of trading, now we've done 170, I think it's up to 171 now. So 171 signals sent out since August 5th, 2020. Okay, so about 15 months of this program being live. The average hold time is 19 days. Average hold time. That includes winners, that includes losses. You have days like this where it only takes a couple days. We had a trade close out on Monday. That was about 15 days. So I'll show you what it looks like, but everything's different. Great question. So what kind of fill did you get since it gapped up? The fill was exactly the same price. There was no gap fill on the option order. So when I set the trade up, we actually triggered the entry at $1.85. So the actual trigger trade was $1.85 per share. That was the option share price, $1.85. That's what it was the night before. Sometimes it will change. It could have been $2. That can change, but this one didn't for some reason, right? I know there's a reason. Forward is a sound symbol, lots of volume, lots of activity, so the juice is really low. The spreads are low on forward, right? So there's a lot of activity. It's a known entity, known instrument for these market makers, so they don't really push a lot of that spread and juice and gap fills, things like that. All right, so now once we're live, right? So the next thing is we still have the OCO order. Next day at about 11:15, I think it was 11:20, we hit 24.93. $24.93. This is why I always use profit targets. A lot of traders seem to not for some reason, and some traders don't use stop losses. I think that's a bad mistake on both sides. Profit target was hit. How do you know what time it was hit? Well, we have all the final tickets. Okay, so you can see the final ticket time. So here's the final ticket. Here's forward. I'll blow this up again. I don't know why this comment section here. There we go. So I'll blow this up so you can see it more clearly. So here's the forward trade. Remember we had the OCO order. So January 5th at 11:20. That was close. 11:20 in 45 seconds. We closed the 30 contracts that we had. Here's the same strike price even here at $4.20. So we bought it the day before at $1.85. Now it's a surge. These surges, I would say, this type of 1-2 day trade, we probably had about 10 out of the 170 trades where this happened within a day or two. Big break. Majority of the time, you're going to be in a position for, on average, like I said, 19 days or less is the average we find. Okay. But what I want to show is the execution type. We set this up at night. I sent this out. We send all of our signals out at about 7 to 8 o'clock in that range. We send out text messages. We send out emails with full disclosure on what it is. When I say full disclosure, you know exactly what to do. All you have to do is go to your account and match exactly what we sent out. You know strike price, you know expiration month, you know the stock price to trigger the trade with, right? Like I showed you on forward. All of those are given to you in advance. You know the profit target, you know the stop loss. That's the method of how I trade all the time. Because to me, the reason that other signal service providers don't have a high stick rate, right? And unfortunately, they're great programs. I know a lot of great programs where they send out signals. But a lot of the big headache comes into matching the performance. And so when I created this program, my whole focus was, how do we alleviate the frustration of not matching trades performance? Because if there's ever a situation where somebody tells you to buy something and they don't tell you when to get out, or where to get out if you're wrong, right? How to mitigate risk, then you're left on your own. And they may be able to close out. You know, there's some services where, many of you probably see them, where you have to go to a room, right? You go to a room and then you wait for a signal. Well, if life got in the way and you miss the signal to get out or to change your trade, then you're stuck, aren't you? I mean, it's very hard to get out of that situation on your own. So that's why this is the forward signal we sent out on January 3rd. Everything's laid out in front of you. So we send this out at night. This is the 3rd for the 4th, as I just showed you, right? What symbol we're trading? Are we buying the call, buying the put? We do both sides. Majority of trades are calls, but we do puts if the market goes bearish. We track the market for you. You know the expiration to select. There's no guessing. You know what strike price to select. You know what price we want that stock to break out of. You know exactly where you want to mitigate risk with a stop loss. And then you know, as I just showed you, exactly where to put your profit target. We don't want to leave anything to guess, because to me, that's where you lose transparency. Because if I send out a trade, I want you to be able to follow the same details all up front. I don't want you to guess. I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to have anxiety. Me and my team have enough because we put all of our trades out there for the world. All up front. There's no, we don't close a trade and say, oh, everybody close your trade now and send out a message, right? There's always going to be a delay. But when you give it up front, it's all in front of you at that point. And so the question is, you know, profit. Well, $1.85 coming in, $4.20 coming out. So it's 127% profit in that trade. All 172 trades are all here. Winners, losers, up and down the entire line. This is nearly 3,000% net profits. Winners, losers, up and down this entire line. I think I should consolidate a lot of them, but I like the transparency of seeing every single trade. Winners, losers, up and down the lines. And then we have a couple active trades here. So you have active trades on top. You've got archives below at this price. All right, every single trade's there. You have MO, 106%. You got Coca-Cola here recently, right? We got bid up in the sell-off in November. We made it all back in the last 6 trades in the market. But to me, the transparency is what I love. The winning and the losing all up and down the line. So if you know basic terminology, basic concepts of trading, and if you don't, we can help you with the basics. That's what this breakout program is all about. It's identifying. Now you can learn this on your own, because I teach this every single week, twice a week for 3 hours a week. Teach this all day long. This method I'm showing you now. Or you can just sit back, right, and get signals. Whatever way best fits you, best fits you. But to me, what I find is that if you have a consistent mechanism and you stick to it, that's where success is going to be found. Because there's been stages of my life as a trader where I'll trade more frequently, then life happens, then I take a hiatus and I come back. It's life, right? And so for me, if you can get a text message on your phone that tells you what to do, all that what I showed in the email is also sent in text. you can get out of this what you want. You know, it's just a mechanism for us. Once we found a mechanism that made sense, that was logical, that was easy to follow, easy to track, you know, at that point we said, hey, let's get this out to as many people as possible that want to follow along. You know, that's the evolution of what this program is. Obviously, that's one trade. There's 170 trades. I'm not going to go through all of them with you, but everything's fully transparent, laid out, so you can dig in and find out exactly what they are. We've got questions on your orders. Yeah, so question here, do you close your trades at a percent of your max profit because time decay? So we've got different rules that we follow. I'm going to show you this real quick. So these are the rules. So this is our training site. This is where we have all the trade signals, and this is where our support side is, right? So we have all these checklists. So this section here is exactly and precisely how to do what I just did here. Like I said, transparency to me is, I've been in this business so long. There's no reason to hide behind some crazy proprietary stuff when I can just give it out. Okay, so effectively, when you look at these checklists, so I have one already out. Let's see. Yeah, here's one. So when you click on these, this is what it looks like. So I actually give out the entire setting. So this is the actual screen that I use to find these opportunities right here. And then I've got the trade setup. So this is how, remember I said one tick above, right? Set profit targets, how to set those. We've got videos on how to do all this. And then how to select your option chain. The more you know about options, the less you know. Okay, so this is the most simplistic, straightforward approach to picking options. What you see down here is this expiration month. So if I know my average hold time is about 19 days, some go a little longer, some go 30 days, right? Some go 1 day, 2 days, like you just saw. So we have a built-in buffer where we have a 45-day to 90-day buffer, so we don't run into time decay, which is theta, right? So that's the rules of thumbs that we leverage. I would say of the 172 signals, top of my head, I think there's been 3 times where we had to close out before expiration. So the trade didn't hit the profit target, didn't hit the stop loss. So we ultimately just closed out 1 week before expiration. So that's our rule of thumb. If we come up against expiration, like January, 18th, whatever that day is, let's see. January 21st, right, is this month's expirations. If we're in a January expiration, which I don't think we are, but if we were, our drop dead date is the 14th, right? So we have rules and contingency plans around that, but everything's laid out. I mean, exactly how I find conservative trades, aggressive trades, bearish, bullish, how to select the option chain is all laid out. How to set them up here. We got video lessons of how to set up what I just did, the OCOs, all here. Very simple plan of trading it yourself, right? With my teaching, or just following along and consuming what you receive. All right. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different timetable. And I like to do things openly, and I like to have fun doing it. So I like to do a lot of classes and teach, as you can probably tell. But that is exactly what we go after. I got a question: is your sweet spot $1 to $5 per share? Now, our sweet spot is typically in the $20 to $40 range. I don't go above $5 per share. So this is a low cost program, low cost investment, meaning the average share price we see, I think it's $1.80 is the average share price. So that means, 100 shares. So that means your average contract size is $180. Just like Ford was $185 per share, or per contract, excuse me, right? So if you've got $1,000 to invest, you got $500 to invest, you got a couple $1,000, right? These are all within that realm of being able to trade this. So I got a question: if you're new. If you're new, then we're going to help you. You've got to understand some terminology. You've got to understand, when I say buy a line call, what does that mean when you select it here, right? So if I'm in here and I'm selecting a trade, you've got to know what that means. Okay, so we've got lessons there, and we have live classes twice a week, every week. So if you've got live questions, I host them. So you come and ask me, and I'll help you with it. But once you get through the terminology, once you understand your broker, now I use Thinkorswim. You don't have to use Thinkorswim. You can use Charles Schwab, Fidelity, whoever you use. Trade Thirsty is another one, right? Or Tasty Trade, I think it is, right? they all have the ability to do OCO orders. Now they're different than the way I do it because it's going to look different. It's a different platform, but they have the capability. It's not a proprietary, account or trading type or entry type. It's not, only one broker has it. It's just going to be different than what I show because I use Thinkorswim. But that's for the brand new trader. If you're brand new, let us help you. And then show up to class. It's Mondays at 7, Thursdays at 12. Can't make them live, they're archived. I'll teach you how it works, right? But I teach this philosophy, I teach this strategy exactly as I showed you here every single week. And we track the market. All of my traders know the strength, where's the market heading? Are we in a retracement? Are we in a market reversal? Stay on top of the market every single week with the traders so you can come in and know, not just on a minute stock level, right? Not on an individual stock level, but holistically, where's the market heading? We've got major interest rate changes coming. It's already been broadcasted, right? All the minutes came out yesterday, right? There's a lot of tumultuous trading ahead of us. So we need to have our eyes on the prize. And not only do we provide these signals, but we also provide market commentary twice a week. Because to me, that's where you lower your anxiety levels. To me, life's about expectations. If we can expect what's going to happen in the next week, it lowers our anxiety. When the market's symmetrical, as it's very symmetrical right now, and you can see this is my main list, and we track the SPY, the diamonds, the Qs, and the Russell 2K, along with the VIX, and we track them every single week as a group, so that way we know what to expect. If the Russell's in a sideways range, which it is right now, then we look for symbols in the SPY. The SPY is still bullish. Even with this retracement, the SPY is bullish. Until we break this 50 moving average, it's bullish. It's in a deep retracement. So how do we trade that, right? So we talk about that. We identify trading opportunities in those sessions and we set them up live. The goal is to empower. Ultimately, the fish is nice. It's nice to eat, nice to put profits in there. We have losers, we have winners, okay? This is not a 100% absolute guarantee of profit every trade. That does not exist. This is a realistic approach to how trading is. If you think about 3,000, so it's like 2,900 plus net profits. You can add them up yourself. I mean, this is all transparent. You can just copy it. You can download this as an Excel spreadsheet if you want. You want to go through all the numbers and be a data miner, then go for it. That's a lot of net profits. With winners, with losers, that's the net sum. Over 170 something trades, right? So some months are more active than others. Some weeks are more active than others. We don't just send out trades for the sake of sending out trades. Like last night, we didn't send out a trade. The reason why is because there's nothing that set and matched our criteria. So when I talk about criteria, right, and we have the checklist and we have everything that we're following, the criteria here is what we stick to. I follow a very strict guideline and I teach the guideline so you can understand and really dissect what patience really looks like. Being able to lock in profits, I think the last 6 trades are up over 500%. We've got to take the profits when it's there. And then when the market retraces and gets into a retracement phase, then we've got to wait and be patient. So I don't just teach it, I also follow it. And so that's why you'll see some months there's dozens of trades. Some months there's 5 trades. It's all what the market presents. So we don't try to search and we don't try to push the market. We can't. We let the market dictate the terms. We identify the term and then we take advantage of it if there's an opportunity to take advantage of. Along the way, of course, you're going to be guided through the entire process, right? And so that's why at the end of the day, time, energy, and money is what it takes to be successful in anything that we do. So if you can help, if we can help you with the time and energy, the cost of investment to this program, you're gonna be blown away. Okay, so I don't think it's a deterrent for many people out there that want to get invested. It's a very affordable price, and that's because of our goal to help as many people as possible. So the price barrier is extremely low. It's $399 for the entire year, okay, of trade signals sent to you, of live classes every single week that I give as a bonus. It's a paid time, it's a paid class of mine twice a week, but I'm including this today because it's the start of the new year. I think this is the best time to hit the ground running and to have someone like myself that has a strong track record, been doing this for years, to help you in this process, to take the heavy burden away and really guide you through where opportunities exist. That's my ultimate goal. So it's not a multi-$1,000 product line by any means. I think the value super exceeds that what's out in the marketplace, but at the end of the day, it's my time, it's my focus, it's my energy to get you to where you want to be. So in short, right, this is, I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, I wanted to be done in an hour, but I had some questions. I just wanted to really dig in based on those questions out there. So I see more questions. I'll answer those in just a moment, but I just want you to understand the factors here, okay? I already told you how much it is. So when you think about net profit, this is winners, this is losers. What that is, and some people, some charlatans like to use that number differently, okay? What I like to use that number as a true definition of what that means to you. So if you had $1,000 since we started the program that you averaged per trade. So for example, when we send out Ford, it's $185. That means you buy 7 contracts, right? That means that comes out to $1,000 roughly per trade. If you did that since inception, that's $29,000 in profits. That's almost $2,000 a month. It's $399 over 15 months or so, right? Maybe it's $490, maybe it's $500 because you renewed. So 15 months, right? I think it's worth it, right? If you have more to invest, $5,000 with that type of net profit return is $148,000. It's almost 10 grand, just following the signals. Now that's just what we send out. We have very specific criteria that I send out. This is built to be a low cost investment style program. So we're looking for lower share prices. So we're not trading the Facebooks, the Apples, but they set up and present themselves just like I showed you on the charts. So you could take this methodology and use this anywhere. In fact, some of my programs, I show you how to do this on every market, cryptos, Forex, ETFs, futures trade, doesn't matter. You can apply this momentum strategy across any investment that has momentum and price involved, right? You can apply it if you want to learn it. If you don't want to learn it, that's fine. You don't have to. We'll deliver signals to you when they present themselves, and we look every single day. And so that's the real question. So this could be passive, or you can be actively staring at your charts all day, right? And so this is what they look like. Remember I talked about Ford? This is a Ford trade in October from my marketing team, right? Ford. I love Ford. But you can see the full details, text message, also in your email. And then you have your trading dashboard, the same dashboard I shared, you have all laid out step by step for you. All the different breakout patterns, all the different profit opportunities, just as I shared with you with that recent Ford trade. Same focus of profits and returns. All trades have stop losses, so we mitigate risk. All trades have profit targets, so we get out and we book profit. Options trading is different than stock trading. We have a time. We have a time frame. We have limited time in the position because of the expiration, right? So we've got to get out at the appropriate time. And so that 15 minutes, once you get up and running and you start to understand when we say buy forward, buy the long call, here, select this expiration, select this strike, setting up your OCO order, you'll be down to 15 minutes or less. So we send out a signal, it should take you 15 minutes or less. Once you get through it, probably the first 5 or 6 trades, as you get comfortable with it, that's the average time. For me, I can do it in a few minutes, but I've been doing this a long time. But the majority of people, about 15, maybe 20 minutes to set the trade up. So there's, once again, nothing to download, no complex strategies to learn. We're going to deliver them to you. All these, you can trade the stocks too. I mean, we have over 500% just trading the stocks if you like stock trading. You don't have to trade the option. You can just follow the stock side of it because you have all you need to trade the stock with it. Yeah, so question coming in, do you trade options only or stocks? So we do both in class. So we'll buy stocks in class, we'll buy options in class, but you can trade either one. You could trade both, you could trade one, because if I told you to buy Ford at $21.89, told you to sell it at $24.93, right? That's $2 in profit, $2.50 in profit. So you made, 15% or so on the stock side. So you don't have to trade the option. You can trade the stock outright. And so what I do in class is I'll teach you when it's better to buy the stock versus buying the option. That happens a lot. A lot of great breakouts, the options just don't set up properly. They don't have enough open interest. They don't have the appropriate deltas for us, right? They don't have the right liquidity for us to buy the option. So we'll just buy the stock, right? So I'll teach you all about that in the classes. I mean, it's really an all-in-one type of program. You know, so what do you need to follow along? Well, you need a trading account, you need an email, and you need a phone, because we send you text messages, we send you emails, and you need a method to follow along with us. If you're new, you could trade a demo account. I highly recommend any new trader trade a demo. And if you're trading and you want to try out the signals, then you can also just trade it on a demo account. You can write it on a spreadsheet and just track it. You know, but you don't need a lot of time. You don't need a lot of software, right? I told you TradingView is free. You don't need to pay, proprietary software to do what I teach you to do and what we send you, right? How much options experience? I find the less you know, the better, the more you know when it comes to options trading. So if you are brand new, never traded a single option, you don't need a high level account. You need a level, I think it's just a level one account. So if you only have a stock account, you can contact your broker. You just need level 1. You don't need a high level options account to trade options. All the terminology we talk about, all the concepts of option trading we teach, so you don't have to worry about being a master of options trading. I already showed you what the orders look like, so you just need to be able to get around that. Another common question, when do the trading signals get sent out? So between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern time is when they get sent out. We can't control the emails. We set them out to go out at 7, depending upon, the Yahoos, the AOLs, the Gmails. It'll be delivered somewhere in that time frame. If there's no signal, we update the tracker, so it'll say no trade, and that happened last night because of the activity of the day. We look for breakouts, not retracements. So if the market's retracing 9 out of 10 times, it won't be a good signal for us to send out. Bearish market, great question here I get a lot too, is what happens when the market goes bearish? Well, as I stated in our classes, we are on top of the market. So we know when the market's running bullish, running hot. We know what index is running hot. We also track sectors. So we'll track the sectors that are running bullish. And if the market goes bearish, there's a chance it will this year because of the market interest rates coming up, right? The Federales, FOMC meeting notes already stated that, right? So they're anticipating 3 increases of the interest rates. So if the market turns bearish, then we go from buying calls to buying puts, which means we're going to track down to the bearish side. So we trade both sides depending upon the overall market direction. I think for me, this question is simple. To me, it's transparency. I'm not saying transparency is good or bad, but if I'm following someone, I want to know exactly what to do. I want to know exactly what I'm buying. I want to know when to buy it, and I want to know how to manage profits and how to manage my risk. And I think that is where this really differs, is the full transparency up front. Can't go back on it. Once I send it out, it's out in the universe, right? There's no pulling it back. It's out, right? And I think that's what I really enjoy about the program. And so, as I've already stated the price, this is our guarantee. There's always a guarantee, right? Can't guarantee your success of our trades, but I can do this. If you're not satisfied for any reason, if you don't like my coaching style, if you don't like the language I used, I always keep it PG, actually G really, but sometimes it goes up to a PG, right? But you may not like my content, you may not like my concepts, you may not like the trades. All I ask you, let us know within the first 30 days. Because in 30 days, you can receive 10, 12 signals. You can make money on them. Unfortunately, I'm sure it happens. People make money and they say, oh, I made my 5, 6 grand, $400 investment. All right, I'm gonna get my money back. Well, if that happens, that happens. But for any reason, there's no questions asked. You send us an email to our customer support line. We're not gonna call you. We're not gonna badger you. We're not gonna ask you why. We're just automatically gonna, your money's back. Your $399 are back. All we ask is 30 days. That's all we ask, because we put a lot of time. I'm gonna give you a special bonus of my time. So all we ask is just let us know in the first 30 days. No questions asked. So once all of this aligns, we send them out. I've already talked about transparency. You don't have to babysit. Remember, that's funny. This is another Ford example. This is a Ford trade in November or October. But this is the order types. You just copy and virtually paste. I wish you could copy and paste, but basically that's the concept. We tell you exactly what to do and when to do it, and then you just execute and follow. We already talked about profits. I just want to go through exactly what you're going to receive, okay? Daily trading signals. If the trade presents itself, we send it out. If it does not meet our criteria, we do not send it out. This is not for the sake of trading. This is for the sake of generating opportunities of profit. So we only will send out trades meet criteria. Like I said, some weeks are more than others. It's all based upon what the market gives us. You're going to receive access to our trading dashboard. So you can see that big spreadsheet I have is a visible and available full tracking, full transparency tracking sheet inside of our membership area. So you can go back if you want, dig in all the data you'd like. It's all there for you. You can see all the entries, the exits, the symbols, the times. You can go back and look at my charts if you want. Everything's laid out. I've already mentioned this is our holiday special. This is normally $9.99 minimum, but because it's the new year, we want to hit the ground running and really give you a strong opportunity to take advantage of this offer. So we're going to give you this special offer for $399 for the entire year. You don't have to pay a single dime for software. This is all you need. Once again, you need an account, you need an email, and you need a phone. If you don't want text messages, that's fine. You can just get your email. But ultimately, that's all you need to follow along with this program. If you want to learn how to do all the setups, learn how to technically find these on your own, because we only send out on average like one. There's some days we send out 2 at a time. But some of these days when the market's rocking, you can see 5 to 10 opportunities that check the box, that check our boxes. So there's plenty of opportunity to follow along on your own with this same strategy that we use to find them. And so you're going to receive, of course, my empowerment toolbox. Okay, so this is where we give you all the ins and outs of the market, how to trade the options, what it looks like to set them up, all those basic, concepts that you need to understand about this opportunity of the market, how we trade is all laid out in this toolbox. So that way you're not caught off guard. You're not in the dark of how the program works. I want you to understand precisely how everything works so you can have a lower anxiety opportunity. So you can follow along, you can learn it, or you can take both roads, right? Whatever makes most sense for you. You can, at one point, you can really learn it, then you can step back and just get them delivered to you. Whatever road you want to take, we're going to provide you all the insights and all the opportunity. So you're going to receive a quick start options training guide, so that way you can hit the ground running for all my newbies to options. This is really going to be helpful for you, so you can demystify the market. You can learn how to read option chains. You can understand the key option Greeks, break down how to select the right expiration, and then of course you're going to set up those contingent trigger order types. So you're going to receive this special bonus so you can hit the ground running for all my options traders that may be new, maybe just quite haven't had the success you want. We're going to include this special bonus of my options trading guide. We're going to help you set up autopilot. Okay, so we're going to really break down how to set up various order types. So we have option order types that we use. We have various stock order types that we use as well for both bullish and bearish opportunities. So we're going to give you this autopilot lesson here. I think you'll really love it. How to set these up to automatically enter, how to automatically exit. I really find it's an empowering way to trade and take an arm's length focus of achieving those profits with us. You're also going to receive, as I showed you, all of our checklists. Everything, even today, I had a class at 12 o'clock. And in the class, I taught them how to find breakouts of 52-week highs and 52-week lows. Okay, so a way to find double bottoms, a way to take advantage of double tops. And so I told them, I said, hey, I'll build a checklist so you guys can follow this more clearly. So I consistently add to this toolbox so that way you can stay on top of what we're doing in the markets. These are our 4 core checklists that you're going to see. This is the way you can follow along precisely with exactly what we do. It's a basic roadmap. I mean, everything that I teach, everything that you receive is going to fall into these buckets. So that way you can understand exactly how and why we do what we do, right? Everything's going to be laid out for you. Now, to me, the money management side is really important. So you're going to receive this special bonus of our Master the Money Management module so you can really understand how to grow an account. I'm not going to give you personalized advice about your account size. But what I can do is give you rules of thumbs and mentor you on how and when to level up, when to level down, using simple formulas that I teach in this program. Okay, so it's gonna be very simple. Now, this is my special bonus. This is, to me, what I get most excited about. As I stated earlier, twice a week I host a live class. It is our Market Pro Live Club. This is typically sold on its own. I'm gonna include this for the entire year for everyone signing up. Because to me, this is really where I truly enjoy and have a strong passion for helping you all achieve your success. If you can't make these classes live, go watch the archive. We've got hundreds of hours of content. But this to me is really the kickstart to the year. So special bonus for those that sign up, you're going to receive these twice a week live sessions, your ticket to the Market Pro Live Club membership, absolutely for free. It's on me. So I can really help guide you through this market. It's midterm elections. We've got interest rates increasing, already said by the FOMC, right? So it's going to be wildly important to take advantage of that, to have a mentor and have somebody that can help guide you through this market. So that's why I want to include this bonus on me, but I really think you're going to like it. And if you don't, you can sit back and just get signals. But I think you will. Just join us for a couple sessions and see if it helps you. That's all I ask. So in summary, this is everything you're going to receive today for only $399. It's for the entire year. Like I said, there's no software cost. There's nothing complex to download or to learn how to use. All you have to do is walk through and watch our videos on how to set up the trades, the different terminologies that we use, and from there, you can follow along and join our Options Profit Generator clients. You're also going to receive that special bonus, right? So all you have to do to sign up is go to optionsprofitgenerator.com. Simple link, it'll take you to the checkout form. You can see all the various details I talked about to you already. You'll see the guarantee. Like I said, it's a no questions asked guarantee, 30 days. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it makes sense, if it's logical, if you can understand and see the opportunity to not only earn along with us, but also learn. All right, if you want to learn it, maybe you don't have the time now, maybe you will in 3 months. Everyone's time shifts, everyone's focus shifts. But if you have the time, the 15 minutes at night to get your text message, to check your email about the latest signal, then I highly encourage you to give it a shot. Like I said, if you don't like it, just let us know within 30 days. Questions on the training. The Pacific Daylight Time. I don't quite understand the question about PDT. If you want to restate that, just want to make sure I answer correctly. We have Mondays at 7 o'clock. I don't have it on the screen yet. So Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or are we in Daylight Time? Whichever time, Eastern Time. And then we have 12 o'clock noon, midday on Thursday. So that's why I had one earlier today. Because that is our Thursday class. Now we're always on unless there's a holiday. Yeah, so good question from King J. Yeah, money management is a very strong focus. That's that special bonus in our support for mastering money management. We do both options and stock trading. Yeah, strategies are the same for all instruments. Yeah, so I use the same strategy for every market class. I don't short sell stocks personally. I'll buy the long put. So I'll buy puts instead of shorting the stock outright. But you can, if you short, you can follow the signal to the short side. Because you remember, you can see the stock, we use the stock breakout pattern. So a lot of people focus on the options. To me, options are a derivative of the stock. That share price of the option is tied to the share price of that stock. So I look for the stock breakout, and then I drop down to the option chain. So all the targets for entry exits are on the stock, so you can follow the stock, or you can take it to the option in the signal that we send. It's all up to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. In the classes, I'll show you and teach you exactly the situations that arise when it's better to buy the stock versus the option anyways. Especially a big potential breakout, long-term breakout, you don't have to worry about an expiring option contract, right? So there's different ways that we walk through that. No, you can have one membership if you got a family member. That's fine, especially if it's your son. You'll be fine. Oh, pattern day trading. Yeah, so pattern day trading. So you can have, unless they made changes to it. So last time I looked at it a couple months ago, right? So 5 round trip trades, right? So if an opportunity arises, like Ford was close, right? So Ford, was about 60 ticks away from going out same day. You just can't have 5 of those consecutively happen. That would then trigger a pattern day trading violation. But like I said, in the 170 trades, I think there's been less than 10 that single day hit profit targets. But that's a good question. Other than that, though, there's no pattern day trading limitations here. Yeah, good comment in there. Yeah, so stock side only. Yep, so you don't have to worry about that piece. Yep, no pattern day trading limitations here. Yeah, I got a question on OCO orders. Yeah, you can adjust them at any time. So when you have a pending, I've got lots of working orders, right? So every position, all of these orders, see it says working orders. I can edit them at any time. I don't, but you can. Both sides. So there's a cliff trade, you got switch, Kraft Heinz, all of these are working because the trade's active. So these are always working until they get hit. Great question on that. But yeah, you can adjust them. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. So you're going to be redirected. So we use this options profit generator because it's a simple link to remember. So if you type in options profit generator, you're going to be taken to this side. Okay, so you're going to see this special offer, the $3.99 pricing ends on Sunday. So this is through Sunday. If you want to read more about me, you can. Probably heard enough about me, but you can come down here, just click, and it'll take you right to the sign up page. Guarantee is there for you. 30-day period, right? So it's very simple form. Many of you probably seen that before. Same type of form as you've typically seen. The Shaw Academy, I'm not familiar with them. I couldn't answer that. I don't know. I personally don't do spreads. I think there's a time and place for when they're traded and when they're not. But other than that, I don't personally trade them. I think there's many different ways, like I said in the beginning of the presentation, to skin the cat. I'm a breakout trader, so that doesn't really fit into the spread world. I'm a volume momentum type trader, so ultimately it's just counter to my personality and my methodology, but I have no issue with them overall. All right, no worries. We'll see you in the room. Yep, got to get your grandson. That's great. Let's see. Okay, that's a follow-up on the Shaw. Yeah, I just don't know who they are. I couldn't even comment on them one way or another. Yeah, I think in summary, I mean, the big difference is the transparency. I mean, if you 3,000 net pips or pips, I'm thinking Forex on my mind for some reason, but 2,900 net profits. If you just look at it at a profit, a return on investment conversation, it works. What it's going to come down to is, do you check your phone? Do you take the effort to take the phone, take the signal, and then go either practice it, go put in a demo account, right? Or get the email set up in your account? All of that requires some energy. I mean, it's not a plug and play where you just sit back and you don't have to do anything, right? There is some effort, but I think if you take the time, show up to class at least once live in the next 30 days, it's all open. It's a webinar like this, so people are asking questions like you are. I'm pulling up symbols. We always start the first 15 minutes breaking down the major indexes so we know where we're heading, what to look out for, what are some of the key price levels to look for a breakout of the SPY, of the NASDAQ, so we have an idea of what to expect. So when we see the indexes go sideways, right, then we discuss how do we manage that? What do we do with our open trades, right? Do we wait? Do we go on hold until the market breaks out? Well, where is it going to break out? Well, we go in and clearly define what the various price points are, so we know, right? That's what it's all about. Is I can't predict 6 months, but I can predict the next week, right? I can predict the next couple weeks. The farther out you go, the less you know, right? I mean, that's natural in all our lives. But if we know what to expect in the next days, next weeks, right? That lowers anxiety. And to me, trading can be full of anxiety in its own right? We have our money, our hard-earned money on the line. So we can lessen that, then the more we can thrive versus just trying to survive, right? I mean, that's my methodology, is try to give out as much information as possible so we can focus on the objective side of trading versus the subjective. That's just some of my thought process. Yeah, like I said, questions of, can you make money without huge investing? I mean, I showed you what $1,000 could do. If you have $500, cut that $1,000 in half. That's $14,000 in profits. By sending out the whole basis, right? The filter sets of the share prices are all going to be less than $60. The average share price of the stock is, I would say, probably $30, $25 in that range. But the average share price you invest is about $1.85, just like the Ford trade. That's a classic average share price. So if you're new to investing, you need to have $185 to trade one contract. It's about percentages at first, right? You've got to build a success track record. So if you only have a small account, a couple $1,000s, maybe 3, 4, 5. Number one, you got to learn equity management, how to manage that. But there's a way with this program. If you've got $100, it's not going to work. I mean, I'll just be blunt with you. You've got to have at least a couple $1,000 because you've got to have an opportunity to trade. There's been times we had 10 open positions. So you've got to have enough account size. You got to be smart with how much you put into each trade so you don't miss out on the next one. So we cherry pick. So we're going through, we apply the strategies I showed you for you. So we're already cherry picking. What I recommend is that you don't cherry pick us. To get a track record of almost 3,000% net profits, that's every trade. If you happen to take the trade where we lose, and then you happen to do that again, and you skip out on the ones that we're winning because you put your analysis on it, or whatever it may get in your way, then you're not going to have the same results, right? So it's really going to be important of that money management to understand exactly how much to invest per trade, right? So it's definitely going to be an evolution on that side. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate it. Just signed up. I only kept a few with money back guarantee. Hope you're one of them. Yeah, hope so too. If not, that's fine too. I think we're up for the challenge. Yeah, that's not going to happen here. Yeah, it's a shame that happened to you. Comment with a guarantee and then get all their money back. Yeah, that's a shame. Life's too short. I've been doing this too long. Coming on 15 years. The last thing I ever want to do, if somebody doesn't want to be in, then they don't need to be in. That's just not a place where I like to be. I'm a trader. I'm not a marketer. Sales, everybody's got to sell something in life at some point, but ultimately, without this, then I can't do all the fun stuff I can with my kids, right? So I trade, I teach. I teach what I love, which is trading. So to me, it's a perfect world. All right, if there's any other questions, like I said, I'll stick around. If not, I don't want to keep you too long. If you're waiting for some magic bullet, I don't have any. As I've walked you through, full transparency is what I'm about. So I'm definitely looking forward to working with you. Yeah, I love that. So I see it's been averaging 5K a week with selling cash covered puts. Well, yeah, it's been definitely a great condition, especially the previous few weeks where the VIX was so high. Yeah, selling the puts and on the covered put side has been definitely where it needs to be. The thing with me is, like, it's a timing thing, right? It's not all the time that, at least me personally, if you've got a winning formula, then stick with it. But for me, it's all dependent upon, that VIX and where that volatility index is. But, maybe old school, I don't know. But there's a time and place for everything, I think. Yeah, this is the most straightforward options you'll see. I mean, there's no complex multi-legs. It's single leg trading. We're buying calls. Majority of the time, we're buying calls. We do have puts. You'll see them on the trackers. But all in all, the market's been bullish since the March, April timeframe, post-corona, 2-week shutdown. It's been bullish. We've had retracements, we've had consolidation, but it's been bullish. It's gonna be interesting to see what the market sentiment is once we get these interest rates. But we'll be here to see it. When the market shifts, we shift, right? We turn our hat around and we go the other way. Yeah, you can't trade spreads in Roths. Yeah, you can do calls, you can buy calls. That's for sure. I have several traders that have IRAs that follow along. Got a question on class. Yeah, so once again, the class time's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You'll be automatically registered. So the next class we'll have is Monday night. So it'll be a great time to join the club. I love Mondays because it really sets the tone. We get a look at what happened on Monday. We take a look at what happened the previous week, so we can really set up our strategy. So the cadence is very simple. We go Mondays, right? We set up the week. Obviously, if there's a signal, we send out signals, but we'll break down the market live, and then we follow up on what we talked about Monday on Thursday. So then Thursday, we have a couple days in the market, and then we talk about it again Monday, right? So it becomes a cycle where we're always on top of the market together. So the traders seem to enjoy that pace. So that way you have the time. You can't make it live. Like I said, they're archived, so you can watch them all. Yeah, so the chat room is inside of the webinar. So my classes is where we have our live chat. So if you have any questions, that's what that room is for. Obviously, we have support, but in the market live, that's where we have our chat function. This is all meant to be, just so this program is meant to be a lifestyle type program, meaning it's meant to give you more lifestyle opportunities, right? More time than take time. Because that's why I say, once you get through the training, once you understand how to place the trades, it's about 15 minutes a night. Once you get the trade, depending on if you do it, all I ask is that you do it before the market open. You want to set up these trades prior to the next day's open. So if it's going to be in the morning, do it. I've got a lot of traders in Australia. So they do it in the morning on their time, right? Because if we send out at 7, they're going to get it at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So they'll set it up as soon as they get it, outside the US, in Australia. But you just got to find that time where you're going to be able to do it. If it's at night when I send it, then do it. If it's in the morning, just do it before the market open, because the majority of the trades trigger within the first 5 minutes of the market. So that's why this strategy of setting them up in advance is there, so we can catch that initial breakout, the first open. So you'll see on the tracker, we don't have the fill times, but if you watch them, you'll see the fill times, I'd say 80% of the signals happen between 9:30 and 9:40. So that first 2 minutes, about 80% of those trades trigger at the open. Yeah, I'm on the same page. I got a comment. I hate day trading. Yeah, to me, it's just not my style. I'm too optimistic, and I don't like to be stuck in the weeds. It's too ingrained for me. I like to be a little bit higher up on the altitude, personally, but you can use this. I mean, I have traders that use this intraday. Same setup, but just on smaller time frames. Let's see here. No, I think I've got the question. So if there's any last questions, feel free. Any comments, feel free. Everything's automatic, so you'll receive your login, all that fun stuff, to the membership site. You'll be automatically registered for the Market Pro Live Club for those that are signing up. So you'll get a 1-hour notification of the event, and then you'll get obviously the login. Very similar to this login, so it shouldn't be a problem getting into the webinar. And we'll see you Monday. Yeah, I'm looking forward to have you as well. How do you choose your stocks? So we choose our stocks leveraging the checklist I showed earlier. So it's about momentum, volume paired with momentum trend breakouts, right? So really trend paired with volume is where we decide what we're looking at. So we actually build it all. You'll see it laid out into the membership site, but it's all built using the TradingView stock screener. So you can set yours up if you want, jump ahead, or you want me walk you through it on Monday, right? In the live class, I'll walk you through exactly how to set it up. Like I said, you don't have to have the paid account for TradingView. Okay, that's just what I'm most comfortable with. I'm using it forever. You can use a paid version. You can set up all the screeners on the free account. So you don't have to pay I think it's $15 a month. You don't have to pay that. You can set it all up with your username, just set up with your basic login, with your username and password. All that stuff is applicable. You don't have to pay for it. Pay for software. It's all free. Or you can use it on Thinkorswim or other software, whatever software you have, you can use it. It's all common stuff. All right, perfect. So with that, looks like I've got them all laid out. Got all the questions asked. Looks like we got several new signups, which is always fun to have some new traders join our club. So looking forward to having each and every one of you. And if today's not the day, that's fine too. You know, if today's not the day, that's okay. If you want to think it through, you've got till Sunday. Sunday to take advantage of the special pricing. If not, it'll be $9.99 is where we typically have this at. But you know, everyone's at a different stage. If this isn't the right time, that's fine. We'll see when it's right. But I do appreciate it all the time. I know I went over. I do apologize about that, but there was lots of questions I wanted to answer, and it seemed like it went okay on the questions. So with that being said, from us here in Florida, we wish you all a fantastic start to the new year. If we're working with you or not, that's okay. I do appreciate the time. That's the one thing in life that we never get back. So I do appreciate the time you invested to learn more about this process. So what I showed on the charts, when I talked about the volume, I gave you the indicators. That's real stuff. It works. The track record shows it works. And to me, it's really a simplistic way to leverage some time-tested theories in live application that can really streamline and simplify your approach to success. Yeah, Josh is great. Yeah, Josh is great. Yeah, I've worked with that bunch for a very long time. Very long time. Yeah, it's a great program. Yep. All right, so I do appreciate you once again. Thank you all, and I will see you all Monday night live at 7 o'clock in the Market Pro Live Club. If I don't, that's fine too. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and look forward to seeing you down the trading road, and hope it's a fruitful year for you all. Thank you.